Incredible single dad discovers abandoned baby on Christmas Eve. What happened next will touch your heart. The air was thick with some mystical blend of cinnamon and hope as Mike hurried through the snow-dusted streets of Maplewood, his heart heavy with worry. It was Christmas Eve in a town where every house sparkled like a magazine cover and carolers filled the night with sweet, familiar tunes. But beneath the holiday cheer, single fatherhood weighed on him like an anchor, drawing him deeper into a sea of uncertainty. While dashing to his second job at the local diner, a flicker of movement caught his eye near the old church at the town square. The glimmer of festive lights flickered like tiny stars above the cold earth, but it was the soft whimpering from a cardboard box that sent a chill down his spine. Approaching cautiously, Mike felt his heart plummet. Inside the box lay an abandoned baby girl, barely swaddled in a threadbare blanket. His instincts kicked in. With shaking hands, he scooped her into his arms, her tiny frame trembling against the chill. The warmth of her small body ignited something deep within him, a surge of protectiveness and love he never thought he could feel. "You're safe now," he whispered, tears blurring his vision, as a wave of emotion struck him. How could anyone leave such a precious life behind on this special night? That night, as he faced the onset of bedtime rituals with little Jake, the joy of newfound life danced in his heart, but so did the shadows of doubt. The town quickly buzzed with news of his act of kindness, but behind that thin veneer of praise, whispers flitted like snowflakes on the wind. Could a single dad truly take care of a baby? Would he, with his own rough past woven from the threads of foster care, be judged unworthy? At the diner, he plastered on a smile while his heart ached. As patrons celebrated around him, he felt a tug of longing for connection that burned brighter than the warm glow of the Christmas lights. Then came the notice from social services, a swift knock on the door from authority, assessing his ability to care for the fragile creature in his arms. The weight of judgment loomed large. Would hope for love succumb to suffocating scrutiny? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. In Town Hall, emotions soared as Mike stepped up to the mic. The room was alive with chatter, but when he spoke, silence fell. "I fought through my childhood," he shared, voice shaky but sincere. "If my past hasn't crushed me, why should I be afraid of what others think?" He was there to fight for the baby he already loved, challenging his community to see beyond stigma. But doubt was a persistent shadow. Murmurs rippled through the audience. One woman stepped forward, questioning his stability and readiness. With each judgmental word, Mike felt his hope dimming like the flickering Christmas lights outside. The stakes were high and his heart raced, realizing that this wasn't just about him anymore. Could he truly rally the loving embrace of his town to see him as worthy? Would his quest for family flourish in the warmth of acceptance or wither in the chill of doubt? The atmosphere in the town hall was suffocating. Mike could feel every pair of eyes on him, doubt hanging heavy in the air like a dark cloud. His heart raced as he swallowed the lump in his throat. He had never thought he would be standing here, pleading for acceptance, for understanding, for a chance. But here he was, bearing his soul to a room full of strangers and neighbors. "Listen," he continued, his voice gaining strength. "I can't change my past and I can't erase the mistakes I made, but I can offer a future for her, this child who deserves love." He looked at the faces around him, searching for a glimmer of support, a hint that some believed in him too. A woman in the back spoke up. "But how can you handle both children? You work 2 jobs, and what if you can't provide for them?" The question cut through him. He understood her fear. It mirrored his own. The weight of responsibility pressed down on him, but he couldn't afford to let doubt creep in. "I know it won't be easy," he replied, his voice steady but laced with urgency. "But I want to try. I already love her. I can't imagine abandoning her like so many of us have been abandoned." It pained him to expose his wounds, but he felt it was the only way forward. We all want to be seen, to be heard. I'm asking you to give me the chance to show my love instead of focusing on my fears. As he spoke, he caught a glimpse of some parents in the crowd gripping their children's hands tightly. A flicker of empathy danced across their faces, and for a moment, Mike felt a rush of hope. Could it be? Maybe there was strength in vulnerability, and maybe, just maybe, they would see the father he was fighting to become. The murmurs quieted, and an older gentleman stood. I remember when I was struggling to raise my own children. I pulled my hair out, worrying about everything. But love makes you stronger. It keeps you afloat. His wrinkled face broke into an encouraging smile, and Mike felt a wave of relief wash over him. We've all faced struggles, another voice chimed in. What's important is how we rise. One by one, others joined in, sharing their stories of perseverance and love amidst hardship. As each story unfolded, Mike felt the tightening grip of fear begin to loosen. The weight on his shoulders felt lighter, and it struck him that the community rallied around shared experiences and collective strength. It wasn't just about him anymore. It was about everyone standing together in understanding. When the meeting concluded, the energy in the hall was different. There were no more judgments, only warmth. Mike's heart swelled with gratitude. It wasn't the perfect resolution he envisioned, but it was a start, a tentative agreement to support rather than dismiss, to embrace rather than push away. Back home, he cradled the sleeping baby girl in his arms, her tiny breath soothing his lingering fears. He rocked her gently, whispering promises. I won't let you down. We will figure it out together. But deep down, he knew that the challenges were just beginning. What if he were to lose her before he could even prove himself? The thought twisted in his gut like a knife. Could he fight the odds and truly build a family? With each tick of the clock, the stakes rose higher. Would his resolve stand strong against the impending struggles, or would it crumble like the fragile snowflakes outside? And more importantly, could love really conquer all? The answer loomed just beyond his grasp, eagerly awaiting the next test. The morning light crept through the thin curtains, casting soft beams across the room. Mike blinked awake, the weight of the night still resting heavily on his chest. He looked down at the baby girl, her serene face relaxed in peaceful slumber. The sweet innocence radiating from her stirred something deep within him, a flickering flame of determination amidst the uncertainty. Today was the day he would take her to the pediatrician for her first checkup. After the town hall meeting, the support from the community had lifted his spirits, but doubt lingered. Could he do this? Could he be her father, her protector, and her guide? As he prepared, his thoughts drifted to the future. He envisioned their life together. Would storytime be filled with laughter? Would he organize weekend adventures, showing her the world beyond their little home? The moment he changed her diaper elicited a knowing smile from her, and he chuckled at her adorably scrunched face. However, fear whispered in the back of his mind, reminding him of the obstacles ahead. The doctor's office was familiar territory, having taken his son there far too often during his previous marriage. Each visit had felt like a weight of expectation, a gauge of how much he was capable of providing and protecting. Would it feel the same with this little girl? He couldn't shake the worry that this experience would come with its own set of judgments. Fast forward to the clinic. Mike sat in the waiting room, surrounded by families, the murmur of voices echoing off the walls. He held his daughter close, her small frame nestled against his chest. A mother glanced at him, and their eyes locked for a moment. He noticed a glimmer of recognition, perhaps understanding. Is she yours? She asked, a kind smile breaking across her face. Mike's heart skipped a beat. Yeah, she is, he replied, his voice a mixture of pride and vulnerability. The woman nodded knowingly, and it felt like a small victory in an ocean of uncertainty. When their name was called, he took a deep breath. The doctor, a pleasant woman with a warm smile, made the experience feel less intimidating. She asked questions, listened to Mike as he shared snippets of his life, and examined his daughter with a tenderness that felt reassuring. She noticed the sparkle in Mike's eyes when he talked about her, and smiled softly. Just remember, the doctor said as she wrapped up, you're doing great. You both have a long road ahead, but love is the strongest foundation. Her words reinforced what he'd felt during the town hall meeting. Love was enough. It could carry them through the hardest days. On the way home, Mike took a detour. He found himself at the park, a spot he used to frequent with his son. It was bustling with families enjoying the crisp air. As he walked, a tiny voice broke through his thoughts. "Daddy?" A young boy ran toward him, arms wide open. Mike's heart sank at the familiar term. It was a punch of bittersweet nostalgia. "Oh, buddy," he murmured, kneeling to embrace his son, who had been staying with his mother since the separation. The boy pulled back, eyes wide with surprise. "What are you doing here?" "I wanted to see you," he replied earnestly, stealing glances at the baby nestled in his other arm. As they stood there, a flood of emotions rushed through Mike. The journey to building a family was unfolding before him in ways he hadn't imagined. The question hung in the air: could he truly make room for both children in his life? "Can I meet her?" his son asked, his curiosity piqued. Mike hesitated, caught between joy and worry. Would his past mistakes overshadow this new beginning? And for the first time, he realized that the hurdles ahead might be more than just about his capability. This was about blending two worlds, two families, and one undeniable truth: love needed to conquer. The clock ticked in the background as he weighed his options. Whether they embraced this new bond or pushed against it, one thing was clear: their story was only just beginning. Mike felt the weight of his son's gaze on him, each second stretching into an eternity. "Yes," he finally replied, his voice a whisper of hope. "You can meet her." As he cradled his daughter, a wave of anxiety rushed over him. Where do we go from here? How do I introduce them without stirring old memories? He couldn't shake the reminders of his past, the mistakes, the heartaches. But here, in front of him, stood the chance for renewal, a possibility to mend and rebuild. He knelt, bringing his daughter closer to his chest. "This is your sister," he said, his heart racing. The words felt foreign but right, a bridge to a future he desperately wanted. "Her name is Lily." The young boy's eyes sparkled with curiosity. "Lily?" He leaned in closer, looking at her tiny fingers curling around a blanket. "She's so little." Mike saw the instant connection grow. "Yeah, she is, and she's special, just like you." As the minutes passed, the park bustled around them, but it was as if the world had faded into the background. Mike watched as his son softly stroked Lily's cheek, his expression transforming into something like awe. "She's cute, Dad." "Thanks, buddy." The warmth in his voice was new, biological, and unconditional. The boy's innocence sparked something deep inside Mike, a realization that maybe, just maybe, they could blend their worlds. Just as he was allowing hope to flourish, a shadow crossed his mind. Could this be too much? Would his son feel displaced by the new arrival? Anxiety coiled in his stomach as he considered the complexities of their shifting family dynamic. "Are you going to keep her forever?" his son asked, eyes wide with the question lingering on his mind. The honesty in his son's voice struck Mike directly. "I want to," he said after a pause. The truth seeped through the cracks of his uncertainty. "I want both of you in my life, and I will do everything I can to make that happen." His son frowned slightly, confusion visible on his face. What if Mom doesn't like her? That was the very question Mike had feared. The silence hung thick in the air. "We'll figure it out together, bud," he replied, forcing confidence into his words. Families change, but love can grow. The little boy nodded slowly, as if processing the weight of it all. "Can I hold her?" "Of course," Mike breathed, carefully transferring Lily to her brother's eager arms. A tangle of emotions rushed through him: pride, fear, and a flicker of joy. As the boy adjusted his grip, he looked into Lily's sleepy eyes. "Hi, little sister," he said, his voice tender. "I'm your big brother." Watching them, Mike felt a stirring in his heart. Was this the moment when everything began to settle? The moment that made every struggle worthwhile? That feeling was short-lived. Suddenly, Mike's phone buzzed in his pocket, disrupting the serene atmosphere. Glancing at the screen, his heart dropped. It was a message from his ex-wife, and the words hovered ominously in his mind. "We need to talk. It's about the kids." Cautious anticipation set in. What was she going to say? Instinct told him it wasn't good news. The conversation would stir everything he wanted to leave behind, a confrontation. But now he had something to fight for, something that meant the world to him. Staring at his children, Mike realized his quest for family had just begun. Was he strong enough to stand his ground, to bridge the gaps life had laid out for them? As the wind rustled through the park, his resolve solidified. Love was indeed a powerful force. Although uncertainty lay ahead, he knew he wouldn't back down without a fight. What awaited him on the other side of the conversation with his ex? And would the love they were building be strong enough to weather the storm that was coming? Mike stood frozen, his heart hammering against his ribs. The message from his ex-wife lingered like a storm cloud, darkening the beautiful moment he was sharing with his children. His son gently cradled Lily, looking like a small protector, while in the back of Mike's mind, dread bubbled at the thought of the conversation ahead. "Dad," his son's innocent voice cut through the tension. "Can we go get ice cream now?" The small suggestion seemed so far removed from the heaviness in Mike's chest, yet it struck a chord. "Absolutely. Ice cream sounds great." He forced a smile, the corners of his mouth lifting, even as his mind turned back to the gravity of the message. He could put off the worries for a little longer. As they walked toward the ice cream stand, Mike couldn't help but glance down at Lily, peaceful in her brother's embrace. They both seemed so serene, two gifts in his life, pure and untouched by the complications he carried. He tried to push aside the nagging doubts clawing at him. "Would you like chocolate or vanilla?" Mike asked as they approached the counter. "Chocolate," his son exclaimed, eyes lighting up. "And for you, little sister," Mike said, reaching into his pocket to pull out a tiny pair of booties that had somehow fallen in with his keys. He chuckled, realizing Lily wouldn't be having ice cream for years to come, but he wanted to include her in the moment. Fueled by a newfound energy, they ordered their ice cream and found a bench under the sun. With each lick, his son chattered away about school, his favorite cartoons, and how excited he was to be a big brother. Mike's heart swelled. It was a conversation filled with innocence and possibility. But as his son shared tales, Mike's mind couldn't shake the thought of the impending message. His ex had always been direct, and he braced himself for whatever she had to say. Would she be angry about Lily? Would she try to undermine the fragile bond he was creating? "Dad, are you listening?" His son's voice pulled him back. "Sorry, buddy, just thinking." "About what's more important than ice cream?" he teased, grinning. "Just family stuff, you know," Mike replied, trying to keep it light. The last thing he wanted was to burden his son with adult worries. They finished their ice creams, and as the sun dipped lower, a sense of urgency washed over Mike. He needed to confront his ex and discuss being a father to both his children. After they returned home, Mike put Lily in her crib. He watched her sleep, swaddled in love and innocence, then took a steadying breath. His phone buzzed again, another message from his ex. "Can we meet now?" His stomach twisted. What would she say? There was no turning back. He had to face this head-on. With resolve, he sent back a quick reply. "Where?" As the reality hit, a mix of fear and determination coursed through him. He glanced back into the room where his children were, and in that moment, everything shifted. This was about them now. With one last look at his daughter, he stepped out the door. He felt the weight of the world on his shoulders, but he also felt a spark of hope. Families weren't perfect. They were complicated and messy, filled with love and struggle. What was his ex-wife really going to say? And could he hold on to this newly formed bond amid potential chaos? The answers loomed large as he confronted the unknown. The cafe was just a few blocks from his house, a small, unassuming place that had once been a rendezvous point for Mike and his ex-wife during their happier days. Now, as he approached, his stomach churned with dread. He stepped through the door, the familiar jingling of the bell above announcing his arrival. The place was lit warmly, but his mind was darkening with worry. She was already sitting at a table in the corner, her back straight as if bracing for impact. As he sat down, he noticed her eyes, more tired than he remembered, swirling with emotions he couldn't quite decipher. They had been through so much together, but it felt like they were now miles apart, strangers navigating this uncomfortable territory. "Mike," she said, the heaviness in her voice palpable. "Thanks for coming." "Of course. What's going on?" He tried to keep his tone steady, masking the tumult inside him. She looked down, fiddling with her coffee cup. "It's about Lily. And us." The words hung in the air like fog, thickening the tension between them. He felt his pulse quicken. "What about us?" She glanced up, her eyes meeting his, searching for something. "I want to make sure we're on the same page. I know things have changed since the divorce, and I see you're trying to build a life for your kids, which is good. But I need to be clear. I care about Lily, Mike. I don't want her to feel like she's stuck in the middle." Her words pierced through him sharper than he expected. "Stuck in the middle? I'm not trying to keep her from you, you know that, right?" He felt a sense of urgency rising within him. This wasn't about them, it was about their daughter. "I know, I do," she replied, her voice softer now. "But there are things I need to say. I'm happy for you, truly. But I'm scared. What if I can't be the mum she needs? What if you think you need to protect her from me?" He could hear the pain in her voice, resonating with his own fears. He had always wanted her to be involved, to love Lily as much as she loved their son, but balancing everything felt like walking a tightrope. "Do you really think I would do that?" he asked gently, leaning in. "I want you both in her life, it's just, I'm figuring it all out too. Every day it's a new challenge." Her eyes softened, and he saw the flicker of vulnerability. "I'm afraid of messing it up." "Every parent is afraid of that," he said, an unexpected warmth rushing through him. "But we can't let that fear control us. Lily deserves to feel loved by both of us." The conversation seemed to crystallize their roles and responsibilities, casting away the shadows that had loomed over them for so long. "I don't want to make things harder for you," she said finally, returning to her coffee. "But we both have to agree on how to do this." The weight of it all was enormous. He wanted to shout out that they were not just parents now, but a team for their children. "Let's work on this together then," he replied with newfound determination, "for Lily, and for ourselves." They left the cafe with a cautious relief, acknowledging the road ahead would be bumpy but also filled with possibilities. As he walked back home, a sense of purpose washed over him. Maybe this meeting wouldn't just reshape their co-parenting, maybe it would forge a connection anew. He opened the front door, a smile spreading on his face as he entered the warmth of his home, suddenly feeling lighter. His children were his world, and he was ready to fight for that world. But as he glanced around, he noticed something. Lily's favorite blanket was missing from its usual spot. His heart sank. Where could it be? And why didn't he notice it before? Suddenly a new anxiety started to creep in. As he walked through the house, unease settled in. What else might he have overlooked? Mike moved through the living room, his brow furrowing in confusion. The blanket was not just a piece of fabric. It was a symbol of comfort, safety, Lily's little world. He mentally retraced his steps, trying to remember the last time he had seen it, but his mind was foggy. Had he seen it yesterday, last week? His heart raced. Panic slid down his spine as he recalled how often he felt scattered these days. Between work, the kids, and navigating co-parenting with his ex-wife, he was spread thin. "Lily!" he called out, hoping to catch a glimpse of her round face peeking from behind her favorite toys. There was no reply. The house held a silence that felt unsettling, buzzing with unexplained tension. He hurried to her room, the door slightly ajar. "Lily?" The room was bright with sunlight streaming through the window, the shadows of her toys creating a dance floor on the carpet. But it was quiet, too quiet. He pushed the door open and felt a pang of fear. Her bed was made, the pink sheets tucked neatly around the edges. The sight made his chest tighten, thoughts raced through his mind. What if she had wandered out? He navigated through the clutter, noting her scattered building blocks and the abandoned coloring book on the floor. "Lily!" he called again, trying to keep his voice calm despite the chaos inside him. As he stepped back into the hallway, a sudden noise drifted from the bathroom, a soft giggle. Relief washed over him. "There you are." He tiptoed toward the sound, finding her sitting on the bathroom floor, surrounded by an assortment of bath toys, playing enthusiastically with a rubber duck. "Daddy!" she exclaimed, her face lighting up when she saw him. "Look, my duck swims so fast." He chuckled, the knot in his stomach loosening. "That's great, sweetheart, but have you seen your blanket?" She twisted her little mouth in thought. "I don't know," she replied innocently. "Maybe it went to swim too?" Mike shook his head, a smile creeping back. He could always count on her imaginative reasoning to lighten his mood. Perhaps he could use this moment as a chance to teach her about responsibility and looking after her things. "Okay. How about we go find it together?" She stood up, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Yes, let's find the blanket." As they began their search as a dynamic duo, he marveled at her natural joy in the simplest things. The energy was contagious. It lifted his spirits as they checked under the couch, behind the curtains, and even in her brother's room, hoping the blanket was hiding somewhere. Finally, they moved to the very last place, the family room. Mike froze. A lump formed in his throat when he caught sight of a fabric edge peeking out from beneath the cushion of the sofa. "Lily, I found it!" He pulled it out, relief flooding through him as he noticed the blanket's worn edges and faded colors, just like his daughter's favorite stuffed bunny, worn and loved. Lily clapped her hands excitedly and ran over, wrapping it around her shoulders like a cape. "You're the best, Daddy." Mike felt a swell of warmth at her words. Moments like this reminded him of why he fought so hard, to be the kind of dad who could keep his kids' worlds safe and secure. As they settled back down together on the couch, with him reading her stories, a thought niggled at the back of his mind. He wondered how he could do better, be more present. Their earlier conversation played in his mind, a gentle reminder of the challenges to come. But amid all this there was a flicker of hope, not just for them as a family, but for the connection he was trying to rebuild with his ex. Perhaps they could work together, not just for Lily, but as co-parents who brought out the best in each other. Just as that thought nestled itself comfortably in his mind, a sudden knock on the door jolted him. A shiver ran down his spine. The last thing he expected today was a visitor. He stood up and exchanged worried glances with Lily, who asked with wide eyes, "Who is it, Daddy?" Before he could answer, he opened the door. What he found waiting shocked him to his core. A heart. Standing at the door was a woman, her hair disheveled and her eyes filled with tears. Clutching a small bundle tightly to her chest, she looked up at Mike with desperation etched across her face. "Please, you have to help me," she whispered, her voice trembling. Mike's heart pounded. "What's going on?" he asked, instinctively stepping aside to let her in. She didn't wait for an invitation, rushing past him as if time was slipping away. Behind her, he caught a glimpse of a baby's face nestled in a worn blanket. The sight sent a wave of confusion and concern coursing through him. "What happened?" he asked, his voice steadier than he felt as he followed her into the family room. "Please," she said again, easing the bundle to the floor. "I found her. I can't take care of her. I was just passing through. I thought I could find someone to help her, but—" Her breath hitched, and Mike saw the deep fear in her eyes. A rush of conflicting emotions gripped him. Shock, compassion, but also overwhelming uncertainty. Lily, still wrapped in her beloved blanket, stared wide-eyed at the scene unfolding before her. "Daddy, is that a baby?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Yes, sweetheart," he replied, kneeling down next to Lily. "But we have to be careful." As the woman knelt beside him, he caught a better look at the baby. She was tiny, maybe only a few weeks old, with soft, delicate features. Mike's heart cracked open a little as he took in the sight. How could someone simply leave her like this? "What's her name?" he asked cautiously, locking eyes with the woman whose face was now streaked with tears. I don't know," the woman said, shaking her head. "I just found her in a basket. She was left at the church. Please, I can't keep her. I'm not ready for this." The weight of the moment pressed down on Mike's chest. He looked at Lily, whose innocence brought him back to reality. "Hey, sweet pea, why don't you go grab your stuffed bunny? The baby might need a friend," he suggested, hoping to lighten the atmosphere. As Lily scampered off, he turned back to the woman. "Listen, I can't just take her," he said gently, trying to wrap his head around what was happening. "But we can call the authorities. They'll know what to do." "No, please don't." The woman's words spilled out in a desperate plea. If they find me, I'll be arrested. I can't go back to that life. I just want her to have a chance. Mike's mind raced. This was no ordinary Christmas Eve. He could feel the weight of the world on his shoulders, not just for the baby, but for the woman before him too. How could he help? Carefully, he crouched down to the small bundle, feeling the tiny life inside the blanket. "Look," he said softly, "you can't simply walk away. There has to be a way we can take care of her together without putting you at risk." A flicker of hope flashed in her eyes but quickly faded. "They'll think I'm a bad mom. I can't face it. And I know I won't be able to keep her." Just then, Lily returned with her bunny, her face lighting up at the sight of the baby. "Look, Daddy, she has a friend." The juxtaposition hit Mike hard. The innocent joy of a child meeting the despair of the woman before him. He felt the burden of compassion settle over him. He didn't have all the answers, but he couldn't turn away. Can we try to figure this out?" he asked cautiously, glancing between the mother and the girl. Silence hung in the air, thick and heavy, punctuated only by the soft sound of the baby cooing. It was a moment that held so much potential for change and hope, but it also screamed of uncertainty. He took a deep breath, a determination settling in. Maybe this could be a turning point. For all of us. But as he contemplated their choices, the woman's phone buzzed sharply in her pocket, triggering an instinctual alarm. "What if it's someone from your past?" Mike asked, fear creeping back into the room. Her face drained of color. "I have to go," she whispered, her eyes wide with panic. "No," he said, grabbing her arm as he felt the small life next to him. "Not yet. We can't let this baby go, not now." Just as they began to uncover a plan, the phone buzzed again, echoing their fading hope. In that moment, Mike realized how quickly things could unravel. What choices would they make when time was running out? Mike's grip tightened on the woman's arm, grounding them both in this tumultuous moment. He could feel the urgency radiating from her, a palpable fear that threatened to engulf them. "Please, just take a deep breath," he said, trying to steady her racing pulse with his presence. "Let's think this through." Fear shone brightly in her eyes, but so did a flicker of resolve. "I can't go back to where I came from," she whispered, trembling. "I can't." Lily, innocent and wide-eyed, hugged her bunny tightly. "Is she going to be okay, Daddy?" she asked, her childlike wonder wrapping around the chaos like a soothing balm. "Yes, honey," Mike said, though uncertainty gnawed at him. He forced a reassuring smile toward the woman. "You have to trust me. We can help each other here." "But how?" she asked, her voice breaking. "I have no one. I'm alone in this." "You're not alone," he replied, letting a wave of calm weave through his voice. "You have us. We can figure something out together." His instincts kicked in, and he grabbed his phone, ready to dial. "I'll make a few calls. We'll get help." The woman shook her head violently. "No authorities, please. You don't understand what they'll do to me." Her body trembled, her breath hitching again as emotion took over. Mike hesitated. Okay, no authorities. Let's just talk." He sat back down on the floor, eyes locked with hers. "Tell me your name." "Annie," she managed to say, swallowing hard. "Annie, listen," he said softly. "This baby is here now. Can you tell me what you do want for her? What kind of life do you see for her?" Annie's shoulders slumped. "I want her to be safe, to be loved. But I can't give that to her. It's not fair." Lily, ever perceptive, pulled on Mike's sleeve. "Daddy, can we keep her?" "Sweetheart, that's a big question," he replied gently, his heart aching. "But we need to help first. We need a plan." The mention of a plan seemed to bring new life to Annie. What if I stayed here for a few days, just until I can figure things out? Then we'd need supplies, food, a crib." Mike's thoughts raced, grappling with the logistics of the moment. "Can I trust you?" "Please," Annie begged, tears streaming down her cheeks. "I swear I won't run. I just need this chance." A glimmer of hope kindled between them, and Mike could feel the heaviness of the moment shift just slightly. "We can make this work, Annie. I'll help you find a way to get connected with the right people." As the brightness of the Christmas lights flickered softly around the dark family room, Mike felt a profound sense of duty, not only to the baby, but also to Annie. He recognized their fragility, yet he saw the potential for something wonderful. But as they settled, the reality of what might come next loomed. Would Annie truly stick around? And what if someone discovered them? With their lives intertwined now, Mike felt the weight of responsibility settle heavily on his shoulders. Before he could speak again, the phone vibrated insistently in his hand, shaking with a demand he couldn't ignore. It was a message from his mother. "Stay vigilant. Things aren't safe." The words sent a chill down his spine. What other dangers lurked just outside their door? And in opening his heart, what doors had he unlocked for Annie and her child? He glanced toward Annie, her face pale and focused. "Whatever happens next, we face this together," he said firmly, knowing that unity was their only chance to weather the storm. But could they truly defy fate together? Christmas was meant for miracles, but this was a different kind of challenge altogether. As the lights continued to twinkle, Mike couldn't shake the feeling that the worst was yet to come. What would their next move be, and what cost might it carry? The chill of uncertainty clung to Mike as he watched Annie cradle the baby. The room, draped in the soft glow of Christmas lights, felt more like a fragile bubble than a safe haven. He realized they were standing at the precipice of something monumental, decisions that could alter their lives forever. "Okay," Mike said, his voice steadying as he searched Annie's eyes. "We need to lay out a plan. First and foremost, we should contact a social service without drawing suspicion." Annie's gaze shot to the floor, fear flickering across her features. "But what if they take her away?" He sighed, weighing his options. "They might, but they'll also connect you to resources, support. You need help." "What if I get arrested?" she whispered, trembling. "I can't go back." Mike's heart ached for her, but the reality was stark. "Listen, I can't promise anything beyond getting help, but if it's about protecting this baby, we have to act responsibly." Seeing his determination, she nodded slowly, though doubt lingered in her eyes. "What about you? What will they say about you, this single dad taking in 2 kids?" "I'll fight for my family," he asserted, his voice igniting with passion. "You'll be part of that too. You've got to trust that love is stronger than fear." In that moment, what felt like desperation slowly shifted into a shared understanding. They weren't alone anymore. They became a team forged in this strange and chaotic situation. Mike felt a weight lift slightly off his shoulders. They could navigate this together. The next few hours unfolded in a surreal flurry of movement and emotion. Mike guided Annie through phone calls to social services from a safe distance, while keeping an eye on Lily, who was lost in playtime with her stuffed animals. Annie took tentative steps forward, growing more confident as they discussed options. "What if I could stay? At least until the authorities can officially help," she proposed, hopeful spark igniting in her demeanor. "That's possible. We can set up a safe space for you and the baby," he suggested, his mind racing with logistics. Would they have enough? Would his own kids be safe with this unknown person in their home? The worry didn't vanish, but lingered in the background like an uninvited guest. As the evening wore on, the knock on the door felt ominous. Mike's heart raced. Could it be someone from Annie's past? He approached the door cautiously. "Who is it?" he called, his voice firm but wavering. "That's me, Officer Mills," a calm voice responded from outside. Mike glanced over his shoulder, seeing confusion and fright mirror through Annie's eyes. He opened the door. "Evening, sir. We've received reports about a woman traveling with a baby. I thought you might have seen anything unusual," Officer Mills said, scanning the room. Annie's breath caught, fear flashing across her face. Instinctively, Mike stepped in front of her, blocking her from view. "No, we haven't seen anyone. Just a quiet night at home." "Is everything all right inside?" the officer asked, peering over Mike's shoulder. "It is, just enjoying a cozy Christmas Eve with my kids. You can confirm with them," he offered, his heart racing. Officer Mills nodded. "Hope you have a great holiday then." He tipped his hat and moved along, leaving Mike breathless. With each step that receded down the porch, tension drained from Mike's shoulders, but the silent realization that danger still loomed had planted roots in his heart. "Is it over?" Annie's voice trembled as she stepped forward. "For now, but we need to stay vigilant," he replied, scanning for any other abnormalities. That night, as they settled down, Mike and Annie created makeshift beds, splitting the living room with blankets for a sense of security. He watched as Lily wrapped herself around her bunny and fell asleep, her innocence radiating warmth across the room. Turning to Annie, Mike whispered, This is just the start. We'll figure this out together." With that, Annie's resolve shone through the night. They were a makeshift family, striving for safety amidst a chaotic world. As days turned into weeks, their bond deepened. Mike learned more about Annie's life, her struggles, and her dreams. In return, he opened links to his past, woven with scars from worse days, but also threads of hope for a brighter future. Together, they stood at countless crossroads, facing the weight of judgment from strangers, but finding solace in the warmth of their solidarity. And then, the day came when they returned to the social service agency to formalize a plan. Hand in hand, braving the daunting hallways, they emerged onto the bright snow-covered parking lot, hearts a little lighter, but fortified with resilience. Annie smiled at Mike. "We can do this. No matter what, we have each other now." "Yes," he replied, resolving to build a family from the ashes of their pasts, standing together against whatever came next. This was their moment to shape the narrative, not as individuals bound by flaws, but as a united front entwined in love. As they drove back into Maplewood, Mike glanced at Lily, her laughter filling the air. The future remained uncertain, but one thing was clear. Love was indeed the strongest foundation of all. Determination surged through him. Let's show the world how powerful family can be. And at that moment, on the brink of a new chapter, he felt hope light the path ahead, igniting dreams yet to be realized. So ask yourself, what will you do to champion love and resilience in your own life? Your journey is only a choice away. Don't forget to subscribe now to see more inspiring stories. Leave a like to help the channel and show your support. Your engagement matters. Comment below with your reactions and how love has transformed your life. And share this video with 5 friends who need some hope today. Don't wait not even one more second.